Tom, aka Gedion, here for Star Frontiers Gamer, and we have another Frontiersman Friday. We're going to be reviewing the Star Frontiersman #3, another great issue, edited by Bill Logan. And so I like this issue, and because there's a lot of goodies in it. The first article was Tech Journal on gyrojet weaponry. They didn't really introduce new weapons per se, as there's a whole lot of new ammo and like recoil compensators, target links, it's extended jet clips. So it's goodies for tricking out your gyrojet weaponry, and that made it really interesting. I especially like the idea of Doze and Tangler gyrojet ammo or poison gyrojet ammo. That, it gives you new wrinkles for the bad guys to be using against the player characters. So, you have a situation where they get shot with Tangler ammo and some of them get incapacitated while the bad guys are fleeing. I kind of think that's cool. And so there's a lot of ammo here for the pistol clips, for the rifle clips, and some other goodies and attachments for the. So to me, this was great stuff. And there's possibilities here for throwing new wrinkles at your players. Next up, we had Star Systems. There's a Athor system brief here. And I don't know that I ever used this one in particular. So it's some of the details on it are a little foggy, but it's a thorough brief with the AU laid out here, where the orbits are, the asteroid belts. There are new rules for fleshing out your character with weight and starting weight, age classification, and so on. And these are great. These are always great. Random trait table for your player character. Dirt poor family, serves a master, superstitious, high voice, honest, honorable. So just a lot of traits, and it's a nice D100 table, which I love when you have a D100 table. Then there was city encounters, and it's another D100 table. This is actually cool. This is for like if you have a layover at Port Lauren, and so there's really interesting things on here, like Frontier Scouts selling cookies with their most persistent tactics. What's this one here? A retired Space Fleet officer who drones on and on about his or her or ID's service time. I mean, just oddly dressed teenager, any race, offers PCs a flyer for a new alternative dance club located in the fringe district of the city. Just various things here on this D100 table. There's a lot here. So, I mean, you can roll on this numerous times and it's never going to get stale. It's just interesting things in here. Then we get into one of my personal favorites, the archetypes. We have a Drolosite Spy Master. This is obviously leveraging his lie detection ability. And so the character concepts were Web Spider, Master of Disguise, James Blob. And then the Counter Spy. And again, it talks about developing abilities and equipment for this character. The next archetype was the Versk Visionary Ecologist. And these were interesting. I really think that this archetype should have been a Yazarian because of Godco and their terraforming activities, that it should have leveraged that little setting fluff. But it's okay, because you could just make your character a Yazarian anyways. But the character concepts are terraformer, eco-terrorist, and planetary, planetologists. And again, it gets into the nuts and bolts of developing ability scores, developing skills for this, developing the, what equipment is going to be good for this character. And then we get into yet another equipment article with tag tracker and the trace tags, grapple link, They redo review the Zamra, the Azarian honor weapon, the bladed frisbee that you have to have a metal glove to throw and catch. And so that was cool because that helped these stats for this weapon that was in one of the if people don't have the Dragon magazine or the Polyhedron magazine that the Zamra was in, uh, having it rewritten up and the stats provided for here put it back in play for people who just didn't have those articles, didn't have those magazines. So I thought that was great. And just more equipment. And then this was really cool, and I like this a lot. I believe this was Bill Logan doing here. Is you get some gun illustrations, and they've illustrated just about every gun in the Alpha Dawn book, and I thought that was great as well. Right down to the recoilless rifle. Like, we really needed an illustration for the recoilless rifle, but you got one. So in the Sonic Devastator here, on this side, this kind of looks really cool. It is a nice heavy weapon for blasting away. And here's the write-up, a new write-up on the Zamra, putting it back in play. And then you got a location here with a map showing a city, the Wraith Lair, some other ruins, a crash site. So this was actually, I highly approved of this because, if you're a busy game master and you don't have time to set something up, or you have something set up, but like one or two players didn't show that night for your game, and you just need to do something on the quick, where just as like a little side trek for the players who did show up, or you're too busy and you just need something fast. This was it. You got a couple of maps, you got a new creature, the Cave Wraith. I was not so sweet on the Cave Wraith here because this artwork really looks like Dungeons and Dragons monster manual type of creature. Not what you typically would think of as a sci-fi creature per se. So I wasn't sweet on it. But I don't see why you couldn't just grab another picture of some sort of bug-like creature and keep these stats. Why not? And just swap it out. So I think it's very usable nonetheless, even though I don't like escapees from the Dungeons and Dragons monster manual in Star Frontiers as a rule. But rules are also made to be broken. So ultimately, it's up to you. But I highly approved of having a location with a couple of maps and a write-up. I thought that was great. And then adversaries. The adversary section in this issue had a bunch of NPCs, professional assassin, rookie assassin, elite assassin. I thought this was okay. My only problem with this was when you got down here to the assassin bot, and that's only because I'm a stickler for the rules, is that if you look under body type, it says heavy duty. Now, a heavy duty body in a heavy duty robotic body is the size of a bulldozer. It's the size of a backhoe. And this image is clearly not a robot body the size of a backhoe. This is your standard robot body or anthropomorphic body. And he's clearly intended to walk and move amongst the core 4 population in a city. So I think the heavy duty body is a mistake, that it should be the anthropomorphic body, which is 100 stamina. I get why they might have chosen the heavy duty body because it has the 500 stamina. It gives him some punch. But you could say that it's it's a reinforced anthropomorphic body with 200 stamina. And that still gives him some, and tack on, down here, they gave him a military sky suit. I don't know that a heavy duty robot body that's the size of a bulldozer can wear a military sky suit, but they were clearly trying to add up some more stamina for this character. I would delete that and just go with the reinforced standard robot body or reinforced anthropomorphic body. These are, you say, well, where are the well, they're actually going to be in a special product. We're working on a special robotics omnibus. It's something new that I created. And by paying a little bit more for one of these standard type bodies, and you get a reinforced one, it just doubles the stamina. And, so you're not selling it. You don't really need all the stats on it other than it just doubles the stamina. So that would give you 200 stamina, and he'd still be pretty tough. Maybe give him a defensive screen, and this would still be a boss encounter that would be, because he is, where's his level 5. uh he that's a tough robot. Level 5. So I mean, his chance to hit is like 80%. So if he's shooting or doing melee combat, it's 80% chance to hit. He's hitting all the time. This is a deadly foe. I don't know that he needs that 500 stamina. It doesn't make sense though, especially with the heavy duty body. So I would modify him. Now we get down to one of the character races that was introduced. And I know I have this love-hate relationship with a lot of the races that were introduced. I felt like some of them, I don't like any of the furries, any of the anthropomorphic animals. Not a fan of those. Well, I am a fan of the Vim, so my hypocrisy knows no bounds. But this race, I like the Boon'sheh. They're, they felt alien. They kind of looked cool. And so I liked them from the first when they were introduced. They don't have a planet that they're from, but I do like this Boon'sheh multi-pistol. It's kind of a special thing. And so it was kind of cool. And it uses its own special ammunition, but you could load it with standard auto rifle or auto pistol ammo, and it can fire it nonetheless, even though it's not the same as, it's kind of a special item, and it was special to the Boon'sheh, and I thought that was cool. Now later on, we had the Zebulon's Guide project in the starfrontiers.us forums, the one of the projects, the Zebulon's Guide Revisited, Zebulon's Guide Expanded. I forget what name it had. And I'm looking at things in the Humma description, and I'm looking at this race, and I'm thinking, this race looks like it could have evolved in the same evolutionary tree as the Humma. And there were statements in the Humma's description that was like, it kind of made you think like there very much could be another sapient species that has been abused by the Humma for centuries. And so I recast the Boon'sheh as this minor species from the planet Hum, and they've been treated much like Native Americans have been treated in the United States. In fact, they've been relegated to, they have some territory in the mountains that they can't be rooted out of, but they have been relegated to some reservations. A sizable portion of the population has been deported to an inhabitable moon, which is kind of like, the whole Trail of Tears with the Cherokee. And that they've been deported far away to a place that was not their homeland, that was not where they felt comfortable. And so I worked that into some of the Zebulon's Guide Revisited material that when we were working on expanding it. I think it's Zebulon's Guide Expanded. So I've always liked the Boon'sheh, and we did a little bit with them, and I like them being a minor race from the planet Hum. They've suffered from, they don't like the Humma, so they're very much and you can find them. They do join Capellan Free merchant crews. And so you do find them there, but they're very much a minor race, and so I like them for like a new wrinkle, something a little different. So this is a race I very much liked. You have a couple of adventure ideas here. The heroic start, new enemies, new friends, credit for a flower mister in Scalit Town. There's not much to these, although this this heroic start has got much more detail. And then, of course, you get down to the classifieds, and I talked about that last time. And here we have another one of those Gorko and Torita classifieds. It's Torita to Gorko. She's Gorko. You know the place. Third locker from the fountain. You'll get all you have coming. And so the drama between Gorko and Torita goes on. And again, these are just things that, if the player characters are consulting the data nets, the whatever passes for an internet in that locality of the frontier, these are ads they might see. These might pop up, and they might be something that you could use on the quick as a little side quest. You might allow them to choose to investigate one of these ads as a little bit of a sandbox type of game. So this was another great usable edition of the Star Frontiersman. It had some great artwork for the cover, and I loved it. I like any issue where you're getting some really cool gadgets. You got all that gyrojet ammo, and then other cool gadgets later on. And again, it was just another great, and it had a usable race that felt alien enough to me that I really wanted to use it, because I don't generally like the anthropomorphic animals, but this one, the Boon'sheh, I really liked, and I used them quite a bit, especially when we did the Zebulon's Guide expanded project. It worked them into as a abused people in the because the Humma, they're really grouchy, they're very irascible, they're not nice people. It's like they came from the inner city of some major city, and they're just grumpy. The grumpy cat has nothing on them. So the Humma, they are a major and important race, but they're not a nice, when you read their description, they're not nice. And so I felt like they very much could be the species that was abusive to another minor species that evolved on their planet. And that's how I use the Boon'sheh, working them in. So this is Tom, aka Zebulon, signing out for Star Frontiers Gamer. Hope you enjoyed this quick rundown of Star Frontiersman number 3 on Star Frontiersman Friday. And check out the issue. I'll put a link in the show notes, and use some of the stuff in your campaign. For me, this material is more for the game master than for the player. I know players going to look at it and be like, "Oh, I want those. I want that ammo. I want these gadgets." But you know what? I look at this stuff as this is for you, the game master, to throw new and different wrinkles at your players. And I hope you find this stuff usable, and I will see you in the frontier.